Sadly, the same couldn't be said about her brother David. It's well known that he had no aspirations to follow his father's footsteps, but alas, he laced up his first.
Like, this was like, you know, your family just like kind of forcing the business on. If he didn't want to wrestle, shit, just like let him do what he wanted to do.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Amaj back here with another video. Today we're about to be reacting to a video by WrestleMania. The video is going to be on 10 WWE wrestlers who had absolutely zero ability. Bro, Eva Marie gotta be on this list, bro. Every fucking list I gotta always call out Eva Marie, bro. It's just essential that you gotta call her out, because like, name one match that she had that's good or decent. Well, I guess the one with Bailey, I learned in the last like wrestling reaction that I did, I think, on this type of video. But let's just get into the video and see who the fuck is this guy. Well, okay. But let's get into the video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on the video if you mess with the wrestling reactions, man. I'll be doing more. Don't forget to, you know, suggest some in the comments. I saw like 1 or 2 people, you know, suggest some on the wrestling videos, and I'm gonna be doing it. But let's get into it.
Number 10, Eva Marie. Starting as we mean to go on, Eva Marie was such a glaringly obvious example of somebody who just didn't get wrestling. Her selling was sloppy, her offense wasn't any better, and she astonishingly displayed zero signs of development across her original 4-year stint in WWE. So what did WWE do? Well, they brought her right back. In what appeared to be a desperate attempt to drive ratings based solely on the notion that every wrestling fan loves a surprise return, Eva Marie briefly returned to WWE in 2021, and the only difference was that her hair was now dyed pink. She was still the drizzling between the ropes, incapable of—
God damn, bro. It fucking sucks that nigga said that, but like, Jesus Christ. And like, they just had to sit up here and watch this match. I feel bad for people that paid this money. I think this was around when people like first got back into the stadiums around like 2021, I think. No, at the beginning of 2021. And they had to watch this drizzle shit of a match. I'm using what he said.
Wrestling even the most basic of wrestling matches with Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, and she was mercifully canned within 5 months of her resurfacing. Vince McMahon has been known to back some of the absolute dirt worst wrestlers, and his consistent support of Eva Marie is still one of the most questionable things he's ever done as a wrestling promoter. Number 9, Nicole Bass. Like Eva Marie, it's surprising that Vince McMahon didn't award Nicole Bass with the Women's Championship. It's not as if that title meant anything during the Attitude Era, a period that saw Harvey Whippleman win the title under his drag queen guise of Hervina at a recorded 6'4" and 231 pounds.
I mean, you could say the same about like the Divas Championship when it was, you know, back in that age of everybody had to look beautiful in the fucking restroom breaks of the matches, 3 minutes. You could say the same thing with Santino, but like, at least they had like a ton of good people that like made that title, you know, is what it is.
The imposing New Yorker had only a brief spell in WWF, debuting at WrestleMania 15 in March of '99 and departing that July following a largely forgotten allegation she made of sexual misconduct. But despite her 5 months of fame occurring during an era in which everybody found a way to get over, Nicole still struggled, as her matches regularly fell apart due to her general clunkiness. However, it wasn't her in-ring abilities that grounded her career, it was the constant comparisons to Chyna. Both stood out from the rest of the pack in the women's locker room at the time, going against the stereotypical presentation by wrestling identically to their male counterparts. But it was only—
honestly, you can't really fucking like hold a candle to Chyna, honestly, but yeah, you kind of like looking like a blonde clone of Chyna, and you know, wrestling just like her, you're gonna be taken second rate, bro. Like, you gonna have to come with like a different good look. I know that's your look, but Chyna already did it first, and Chyna was already in that era.
Chyna who actually made it work. As a non-wrestling heavy for Sable, Nicole Bass could have made a bigger impact, but allowing her between the ropes exposed her biggest weakness. Number 8, the Harris Brothers. An immediate indicator of a terrible wrestler is if the statistics section on their Wikipedia write-up contains more ring names than their actual accolades. This is usually a sign that a wrestler has undergone constant repackaging jobs, struggling to find their footing in the treacherous industry that disposes of its waste before it's even had time to ripen. That analogy, as convoluted as it may sound, may also best describe the Harris brothers. Active between 1987 and 2005, the twins regularly failed to make a lasting impression. They cycled from one muddy gimmick to the next with the casting.
They look like Stone Cold Steve Austin rejects. It's like a cross between Stone Cold Steve Austin's gimmick and Big Evil Undertaker back in the early 2000s.
As the Blue Brothers and the Disciples of Apocalypse in the WWF, and as one of the worst tag team names ever in WCW, known as Creative Control. They highlighted how their height was their only saving grace. At 6'5" each, Vince McMahon presumably foamed at the mouth before realizing how limited they were when tasked with applying a simple wrist lock. Together, Don and Ron managed 3 reigns with the WCW World Tag Team Championships, but they're more remembered for—
Jesus Christ, they really gave them that championship many more times than the Street Profits right now. I forgot how many times the Street Profits held the damn tag team championships. I legit forgot because they have been doing the Street Profits dirty as fuck throughout these years. These past 10 years, honestly. Jesus Christ. Yeah, these past 10 years, honestly. But yeah, they just, back then, they were just giving like anybody the tag team titles. I feel like the tag team titles is just like always given upon anybody that they throw together as a team, especially in the late 2000s. Jeez.
that god-awful gang war storyline with the Los Boricuas in 1997. Oh, and that time they rocked up on the TNA card wearing gear that proudly displayed the logo of the SS. What the hell was that all about? Number 7. Giant Silver. Another towering buffoon from WWE infamy, Giant Silver was at least cast to be a towering buffoon. Unlike the Harris brothers, Silver was there to be laughed at, not to be taken seriously as a faux biker or whatever the hell they were meant to be as the Blue Brothers. He spent the bulk of his time in the WWF as a member of the Oddities, though he was more commonly the cornerman for his stablemates rather than an active wrestler. That statement alone speaks volumes to how dreadful a wrestler he really was.
Buddy looks like a lesser known Great Khali, like a smaller version. Like, Jesus, I always say this about big wrestlers. Like, if they just can't like do the big, I mean, if they're weak in the ring, like limited mobility, and they just can't do the most simplest shit that like a big man is supposed to do, and like create like a good slam and shit. Like, yeah, you're just not gonna have to wrestle, bro. Your height ruining you, yeah, and you can't move good. You're just tall.
If you're viewed as not being good enough to wrestle when, of all people, Kurgan was, then you may as well throw your wrestling boots right in the bin. Giant Silver's most notable match as an oddity was a bleak handicap match from the 1998 SummerSlam, where he partnered with Kurgan and Golder to squash Kaientai. Silver was out of the company by the following February and had a surprisingly lengthy stint wrestling in Japan, but he had no right sharing a locker room with the greats of the Attitude Era. Not even his overpowering 7'2" stature could save him from the wrath of a Vince McMahon-mandated Future Endeavors phone call. Number 6. David Flair. Entering any entertainment industry that your family has already dominated should set you up for immediate success. It certainly did so for Charlotte Flair, at least. Joining WWE in 2013, the Queen has grown to become one of the most influential performers in industry history, and while her natural athleticism and charisma massively helped shape her path to the top, you'd be remiss to say that her surname didn't help her out at the beginning. Sadly, the same couldn't be said about her brother David. It's well known that he had no aspirations to follow his father's footsteps, but alas, he laced up his first pair of boots in 1999 for what was supposed to be a one-off match in WCW. What followed were reigns with both the United States and World Tag Team Championships, a dire heel turn on his father, and the title of the most ill-fitting member of the NWO. He probably
oh my gosh, I feel like this was like, your family just like kind of forcing the business on you, bro. You didn't want to follow in your father's footsteps, but like I'm pretty sure Ric Flair, since that's his son, your son, you want him to follow in your footsteps. And like, classic how people used to do back in the day, they want you to follow in your footsteps. It was like a norm, you're gonna carry on the family business. Like if he didn't want to wrestle, shit, just like let him do what he wanted to do. And also like him not being good, that shit also like comes with like, you know, some, you know, generations of families. You've seen it sometimes, and like there's a couple of families, but I can't get them on the noggin right now.
Realize that being a pro wrestler was actually quite a neat job when you have nepotism to boost your standing. But when WCW was bought out in 2001, David actually jumped over to the WWE, though he spent more of his time in OVW, the company's developmental league at the time, than on the main roster. In fact, all he did on mainstream programming was getting beaten up by The Undertaker ahead of Taker's showdown with Ric Flair at WrestleMania 18. Still, you only gotta look at his Titantron to know how much faith WWE had in him. Number 5. The Squat Team. Being morbidly overweight isn't always a write-off as a professional wrestler, as there have been several super heavyweight performers such as Yokozuna and Giant Haystacks. They've all used their size to their advantage.
God, nigga. Like oh my god, I think I did like a wrestling reaction video already with Yokozuna in one of like the spots, and I'm like, I still am afraid of that move, bro. Any big nigga like just coming down on you, oh, bro.
But it certainly was a write-off in the case of the SWAT team. Better known as the Headhunters, the real-life Santiago twins wrestled just about everywhere, and they even had mammoth runs overseas in Japan and Mexico. However, it was in the WWF during the dying days of the New Generation era that the brothers were placed on the biggest stage, being involved in the 1996 Royal Rumble. They waddled out alongside other spot fillers like Takeo Omori and Doug Gilbert, but unlike those two, both squad team members were quickly sent packing even before the arrival of the next entrant. They made zero impact on fans, but no doubt a lasting impact on the ring that they were standing in, as combined they weighed 652 pounds. It was such a pointless pair of entrants, so obviously done because nobody else was available, but since it was the Royal Rumble, you at least remember it. The same couldn't be said about their re-debut 1 year later as the Arabian Butchers, which saw them target Owen Hart and the British Bulldog in an angle that was dropped quicker than their respective Royal Rumble participation times. Number 4.
Yeesh, that whole little fucking thing got dropped that damn quick, bro. That's when WWE tries to repackage you and they see you not doing good and they just go toss you to the fucking curb. I mean, it's essentially, you know, bad for them, but like good that they didn't let that shit go on and, you know, like let the product suffer.
Ava. The WWE had every right to push Ava to the moon from the off. As a daughter of The Rock, she was the company's first fourth-generation wrestler, and considering how much they have screamed about second and third-gen athletes like Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, strapping a rocket to Ava seemed like a no-brainer, especially if she possessed even an ounce of her father's panache. Well, she didn't.
No.
Instead, her in-ring career flopped hard, as a spot in Joe Gacy's Schism faction was a poor fit for her, while the other 3 matches she had on NXT programming ranged from between passable, crap, and horrendous. Ava's solitary redeeming trait is that she was somewhat acceptable as the NXT general manager. She wasn't perfect.
Man, I would say they should have just allowed her so much more training, but like, she's been in developmental for a long ass time, you know, just trying to train and get up there. You know what? If some shit's not working, then hey, you gotta just like cut it there, put her. But like, to me, she was good in the manager position, and she was good as you know, the NXT's like thing, general manager. Sorry about that. Bro, what the fuck's going on? I'm blanking. But yeah, she was good as a general manager to me. She was a decent talker, honestly, too. But yeah, some shit don't work
by any stretch of the imagination, especially given that she was serving alongside Adam Pearce on Raw and Nick Aldis on SmackDown, both of whom are complete naturals. But compare it to her time as a wrestler and it's night and day. Her match with Ivy Nile from Heatwave 2023 is still one of the worst matches that the brand has ever produced. Number 3. Zeus. Since the dawn of time, WWE has frequently lured
Debo
performers from other backgrounds to try their hand at pro wrestling, with Ronda Rousey and Logan Paul among the most successful to make the switch. In 1989, however, they made a dreadful decision when they hired Tommy Lister Jr. to a full-time deal following his portrayal as Zeus in the WWE financed No Holds Barred movie. The issue was that Zeus wasn't willing to learn the art of wrestling, and Vince McMahon wasn't exactly pestering him to do so. Instead, the Hollywood hopeful was handed lucrative SummerSlam and Survivor Series paydays because he happened to be, well, rather tall and well built. Furthermore, according to Jake Roberts,
Hey man, nigga, bro, Debo has his is gonna, have his payday, bro, whether you like it or fucking not, bro. So I mean, if a company is just like offering you money on the spot just because you like were a big commodity in like some movie, why not take it? So I mean, fuck it. He couldn't wrestle, but shit, nigga, I would have just took the money too.
But on his Snake Pit podcast, Zeus reportedly distanced himself from the rest of the boys in the locker room and was being paid significantly more than they were, all while doing the very bare minimum. A complete bust in the ring, Zeus was ousted from McMahon's employment by the time the 1990 Royal Rumble rolled out, despite having reportedly been promised a year-long tyranny with the WWF Championship. Could you even imagine what that would have looked like? Number 2.
Okay, I'm all for getting paid and shit, but hell nah. Like, bro, we already hear about the worst reigns in the world. I'm glad they didn't go through with that, bro. Because holy fuck.
Giant Gonzalez. The legitimate tallest wrestler in WWE history, the Argentinian-born Giant Gonzalez stood at a build 8 feet, leaving him without much room for movement between the ropes. So naturally, he was selected as The Undertaker's WrestleMania opponent for the 9th Showcase of the Immortals. That should go without saying that the match was a
They put this nigga in a fucking gorilla costume, bro. Holy fuck, bro. Gorilla, Sasquatch, or whatever it is. I don't care, bro. Like, this shit looks cartoonish and ridiculous, bro. Completely took the aura of like how you can be scared of a nigga.
plague on the legacy of the streak, with Taker having this to say during an interview with Sam Roberts. That whole thing took years off my career. I would be in much better shape now if I could have skipped that one program. As physically demanding as it was twice as much as a mental strain because you have Bret Hart and Yokozuna going out and having these great matches. Obviously, you want to be mentioned in the same breath as those guys, and it was just not possible. Almost identically to Andre the Giant's babyface turn at WrestleMania 6, where he turned on manager Bobby Heenan, Gonzalez finally had enough of his manager Harvey Whippleman following an equally disastrous SummerSlam meeting with the Dead Man. But that's about as far as the comparisons go between the two. Simply put, Gonzalez didn't have what it took to be a functioning WWE superstar. At number 1, Jackie Gator.
Hey.
Although several tough enough
Hey man, at least he goes down in history as being the tallest fucking wrestler ever.
hopefuls were molded into fully fledged WWE superstars following their appearance on the reality series, such as The Miz and Chelsea Green, the success rate of the show's winners is, well, significantly low. Only John Morrison became a notable star, winning the ECW Intercontinental and Tag Team Championships, while Maven and Daniel Puder found recognition for more controversial incidents. No offense, Maven. Unquestionably, the worst winner of the lot, however, was Jackie Gator, who co-won the second season alongside Linda Miles. Unlike Miles, who was sent to developmental and repackaged as Shaniqua, Jackie was instantly promoted to the main roster, where
Shaniqua is such a fucking racist ass name. Oh my god, I bet Vince was just like this. She looks like a Shaniqua. Like, bro, like y'all couldn't have come up with any other name. Like, the only thing that made her step out, that stand out because y'all had shitty ass booking for her was the name Shaniqua. That's crazy.
her weaknesses were quickly exposed. She appeared to wrestle every match as though it was her first day of wrestling training, but none was more notoriously terrible as her outing on the July 8th, 2002 Raw. Teaming with Christopher Nowinski in a loss to Trish Stratus and Bradshaw, the match went off the rails when Gator was legal. She botched every single move, the worst of which was a bulldog that she sold about a whole day too late.
Oh, now this is bringing up memories. I think I know. I've seen a few clips about this shit.
The match finally finished, not only was Trish visibly irate, but Jim Ross on commentary solemnly and infamously declared, "Mercifully, it's over." Somehow, she even managed to last another 3 years and was even brought back for the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25. Luckily for her, Trish Stratus declined the invitation. But there you have it, folks. 10 WWE wrestlers.
No. Hey, man. This was really good, bro. But literally, like, her lasting that long in WWE, just treading the waters, you could just tell when a motherfucker just want to just sit there and get paid. I still think the worst on here is Eva Marie, because like she was given so many fucking chances and still didn't decide to improve her whole wrestling thing. Like I said, I compare her to Maxine Dupree. When Maxine Dupree arrived, she had no experience, but she took the route of hard work instead of, just still being, you know, the drizzling shit. But yeah, you can either take a route of improving or you can just flounder, and she chose to flounder. But yeah, in my opinion, worst on here still Eva Marie, and maybe second closest Giant Gonzalez, because he didn't do anything in the ring except just be a tall guy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this, and tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because we are on the road to 650, and I'll leave the link in the description for the original video.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?